a good day to you. Take two with Jerry and Debbie getting underway here on EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Normally, Debbie is at home in the comfortable confines of her home near Phoenix, and usually I'm at home in the comfortable confines of my home.
But you're within reach. I could knock you off the stool right now.
Yeah. It's not often that we're in the same room. A lot of people think that we are because I think we see each other on Skype usually.
Yep.
But I think we have a good chemistry. But it's always a little bit of it brings things up a little bit when we're in the same exact location.
But we're on Facebook and YouTube, so we're sharing one screen together, waving to everybody. You guys are getting the chats going. Today is just another great day. And Jerry, we're going to dive right into today's topic. Jerry, put this on the calendar. Jerry, take it away. Tell us what you want us to weigh in on.
Well, we're going to ask you, is there something in your life today that is not as important as it was yesterday? And when we say yesterday,
yes.
We mean yesteryear, maybe when you were younger. We're talking about hobbies, activities, routines. It could be your favorite, super-duper, all-time favorite sports team that you were just like incredibly fanatical about when you were younger. And now
you're not.
Now different things in life have kind of taken priority over that. Not that we abandon those things, but we just sort of reprioritize.
Right. Okay, so I'll give you the number,
okay,
and then I get to go first because I just thought of it as you were saying it. Just thought of it.
Before you do.
No. Okay, go ahead.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Debbie. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thanks, you guys.
So those of you listening, hopefully you'll have a take on the topic, but you
yes.
can even just call and say happy birthday to Debbie if you want.
Aw, thank you so much. I think that's the first time you've ever sang publicly, right?
It probably is, yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed. Thank you so much.
It's the new me. What can I say?
The new you. And then Tom Price, he weighed in, started singing. I mean, I just love that. It was like you guys just did that in harmony.
That's because we love you.
Aw, thank you.
Well,
so now
let's not push it, Tom.
Okay.
It's because she's buying dinner, all right?
If Jack Williams is walking by, would sing now to me. There we go. We're broadcasting live at the 19th annual EWTN Catholic Radio Conference here in Birmingham, Alabama. And so it's just a great, great time to get together with all of the affiliates. Thank you so much for airing Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We got to MC the dinner last night, and it was just phenomenal. We had a lot of just fun, just great time to be together. And it's a great time to be Catholic and to have Catholic radio working in so many great areas around the country. It's just a beautiful gift. But let me give the number, and then I want to go first on this because I just thought of this. And folks, I think you'll have something to say about this, okay? Because think about this for just a moment. Here's the number, 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, Jerry. This is what I thought was so important years ago. House cleaning. I used to be obsessed with cleaning my house. Okay, every, dirt bunny or whatever you call those things. And because in Arizona, you dust. Those of you who live in Arizona, you'll understand this. You dust, and then 5 minutes later, it's dusty again. That's just the way Arizona works, okay? So I used to be obsessed, Jerry. Now
I've never had that obsession.
Well, but here's the thing, Jerry. I mean, I still have a very, very, very clean house, I think, because I love, cleanliness is next to godliness, that type of thing. But, Jerry, I don't worry about it anymore. Okay, if folks come over and pop in on my house and they see a little dust here and there, oh well, I live in Arizona. It's not that important to me anymore.
Right. Yeah, and maybe as you're listening today, you share that in common with Debbie, or maybe something else. It could be something like you always used to be a little bit more attentive to cleaning your house, and now maybe you've got kids now, and you say, you know what, you just have to kind of let that be a little less important to you. 833-288-3986. You can also text the letters EWTN to 55000. Might be a small data rate. And you can also post your comments on social media. We're streaming live again on YouTube and Facebook. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we're talking about something that maybe just isn't as important to you. 833, as it used to be, 833-288-3986. And yeah, my example, I could think of many, but I've probably been for 50 years. I'm 57, and I think from about the age of 7, I have been a rabid Oakland Raiders fan. And, of course, nobody call in and razz me because their season has been over since about week 3 this year. I understand. But you know what? Nowadays, if their game's not on, it's okay. I mean,
it's not going to, ruin your day.
The world's not going to end, yeah. And if they don't win the division, don't win the Super Bowl, you know what? I'd like to see it, but it's just it's taken on so much less importance. And folks, we want to know why something has taken on less importance in your life. And for me, Debbie, probably for you, life has other priorities and things that we have to do. And in the end of at the end of the day, how well your football team did, it may be important to a certain level, but in the big picture, it's not.
That's right.
So we want to hear from those of you listening. Something in your life that maybe you still have an interest in, maybe you still participate in a hobby or something like that, but you don't quite hold on to it with the same intensity that you once did.
But why has it become less important? That's what we want to tap into. Why? The why of that, because that's going to be important. That's going to help us to grow and to learn about ourselves and our spirituality. Okay, here's the number, 1-833-288-3986. Again, we're in Alabama at the EWTN radio conference, and I will tell you this is so exciting because Jerry and I are actually physically sitting next to one another in the broadcast booth, but he just got delivered hot chocolate by my husband, Marty Giorgiani. Jerry, don't get accustomed to that. It's not going to be that way every single day.
Oh, I'm not accustomed to that. I'm used to you getting it for me. That's okay. He won't replace you, Debbie. Don't worry.
I get you a virtual hot chocolate through the Skype, right? I just wanted to say again, it was just such a treat to be able to be with everyone. And my very best friend, who I talk about on the show, she's driving back to North Carolina. She's probably listening. Kristen came in for the radio conference. She got to meet all the affiliates and everybody at EWTN. And she said when she left and she went back home to North Carolina, driving back, she just said, what a wonderful experience. It felt like family. And that's what EWTN is all about. We are family, folks. So we're asking our family right now to weigh in, be our teachers, inspire us, share your wisdom by calling 833-288-3986.
Yeah, the title of the show, the topic, it's not that important anymore. It could be because your life changed when you got married. I mean, men and women, Debbie, as you know, I've never been married, but you bring into the marriage things that you like to do, hobbies, interests, activities, little, routines of life, and then you have to be willing to change those things. So maybe somebody listening, you've recently gotten married, and you had to just kind of let something go, or just make sure it wasn't quite as dominant in your life as it was before. So whatever the reason, whatever the issue, we want to talk about this because we all mature and we grow and we change our priorities. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio.
We're so glad you joined us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And you are the key person here. You're the one who's going to teach us. We're going to learn from you. So if you feel prompted by the Spirit and you would like to call in and share your wisdom on this topic of it's not that important anymore, things in the past that seemed like you couldn't get through the day, through the week, through the year without doing this or seeing this or accomplishing this. But now it's changed. And what has changed about you that has made that less important? That's what we want to hear from you today at 1-833-288 888-3986. Real quick, Jerry, I just got to say, Saturdays, let's see, Saturday night, 6 Eastern time. You love Bear Wozniak. You love the Bear Wozniak adventure. Saturday, 6 Eastern time. Fabulous. Check it out, folks. Don't forget, we highlight these programs and different shows for your benefit. So if we highlight them, maybe take us up on it and have a listen.
All right, 833-288-3986 to weigh in on today's topic. Tom Price is the program director at EWTN, and he's helping us out here.
So I've got one.
Okay.
When I was a young guy, when I was in college and out of college, the first couple of jobs, it was really important for me to have an interesting car. I went through the British car phase. I had an MG. I had a Triumph. I had a Carmen Ghia. I had a Mustang,
nice.
All these different cars. But today, I've been driving the same Honda. It's 20 years old, almost 20 years old. It's a 2001 Honda. It just flipped over 200,000 miles. I'm fine with it. It gets me from this point to this point. I don't have to have a hot car, a showy car, all the creature comforts. I just want to get from here to there.
So let me get this straight. You went from a custom designer car to a Flintstone car.
Kinda.
Wow.
Kinda, yeah.
And what made you do that? Do you just feel
different priorities?
Yeah. Okay.
As you get older, you start thinking, well, okay. And as a matter of fact, I was kind of tempted a couple of weeks ago. I was at a yard sale. I was looking at a chainsaw. I thought, chainsaw, $50. That's a pretty good deal. But the guy was also, because he was moving, he was selling a Miata. Kind of a neat car.
Kind of
and I thought,
spurred those past memories.
Well, do I really want it, though? Do I really want it? And the more I thought about it, I thought, no, I don't want it. I don't want it.
May I ask one more question, please? You don't have to give us your age, but can you give us an age bracket of where you're at in life? Age bracket.
Well, I'm been around for a while.
Okay. Would you say you're over 50?
I would say that I'm over 50.
Under 60?
I would say that I'm a little over 60.
Oh, wow. Okay. So has that made the difference? Is age? I mean, I'm trying to see what made you, because sometimes when people, even when they get older, they go, "Wow, I actually like collecting cars, and I like that." That they get it as a hobby. So I'm trying to tap into what exactly
changed. Are you engaging in ageism here, Debbie? I sense some
Well, I will.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
And I want to tie this around to my faith, and that is detachment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think as you get older, at least, and my wife Adrienne is the same way. We're trying to detach from things.
Okay.
We don't have a big, enormous house. We're very happy, and it's just the two of us at this point. Our son he's gone. So for us, we don't have to have every little thing that we see. Like every now and then we'll like to go to an auction or an estate sale or something like that. But because it's not a big house, the more stuff you throw into the house, the smaller the house feels.
Yeah.
Sure. So we're trying to detach from things like that. And the car example that I mentioned, it's just one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's it.
That makes sense.
Well, thank you, Tom. Yeah, it doesn't have to be an activity or a hobby. It could be a thing, like with Tom. It could be a grudge. Maybe holding a grudge for you is not as important as it once was. Whatever it is, what is something that is less important in your life today than it was in the past? And what has kind of brought about that change in you? 833-288-3986. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. We welcome Gina first, listening on Sirius XM 130. She is in Medina, Ohio. Hi, Gina. Thanks for your patience. You called in right away, and we kept you waiting, so we appreciate that. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great, Gina. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, the thing that I have learned to let go is that I don't always have to be right. If I disagree with somebody or if they don't share the same views as I do, I feel like I'm more patient with people, and I'm learning to say less and to listen more and to kind of meet people right where they're at.
Okay,
That
I
is
love
important.
Right. You said, Gina, I love that. You said say less and listen more. And in that,
Yeah.
and acquiring that skill of listening more, because that can be a tough thing to do, especially when you do have a point of view and you want to maybe encourage people to see your side of things or whatever. So what did something Was there something in your life that made you think, okay, at this point, from this point forward, I'm just going to, polish that skill and listen more and just accept people for where they're at? Was there something that stands out in your mind that got you to that point? Because that's something I think can take a lifetime to learn, and maybe you had this real pivotal.
A lot of us never learn that.
Exactly, exactly. Can you help us out a little more and tap into that for the rest of us trying to learn from you?
Well, I think a lot of it is just from life experience. You find that, a lot of times you really don't get through to people if you argue with them. But if you bring kindness into it and you listen and you show people that what they have to say is important, that a lot of times you can win that way. So I recently read a book called The Hidden Power of Kindness, and I really think it helped me a lot to, adapt that type of listening and just being kind. I think it really helps.
Yeah. It goes a long way, Gina. You're absolutely right. Because if two parties come together and each of them says, I'm right, I want to win, I mean, there's no, the conversation ends in about 8 seconds.
It's a lose-lose, yeah.
And then you both go away probably worse off for the encounter. But like you said, you are actually disarming somebody. You're allowing them their opportunity to be heard. I mean, sometimes, Debbie, people just want to be heard. It's not even so much about I've just got to win this. It's just I got something to say,
right?
And it's important to me to say this. And if we are that ear for them, that shoulder that they can lean on or whatever, that just makes the world a difference for people.
Well, and Gina, what you're doing is a real life skills thing, because we used to learn when we used to do life skills training that to listen more and to really just be there for someone, like you just said, Jerry, if they want to express themselves, but also to ask those questions to get that person to a good place. And just even asking the question, sometimes we tend to, I'm saying this too, we like to finish the argument or win the argument or be done with it or have the last word, and it really doesn't get that person to that good place on their own. And people can get there on their own with just the proper questions being asked. Have you ever found that, Gina?
Yes, I have. Just listen and let them talk, and then maybe when it's my turn, I'll say what I feel is, I want to get across, but never in an argumentative way anymore. And
right.
I think it's age. I think it just comes with time and just life experience. You realize that when you're arguing with somebody, it never really works. So for me, it's age, and I am over 50. And
Well, great, Gina. You're making the world a better place, too, one encounter at a time. Thank you so much for really enlightening and inspiring. Have a great weekend. Thanks for calling, Gina. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking about something that has less significance in your life than it once did. And if you want to share a little bit of a reason why, that's fine. Kathy is in Aurora, Colorado, listening to us on Catholic Radio Network. Greetings, Kathy.
Hi.
Howdy.
Hello.
Yep.
Hi. I was just listening as I was driving down the road away from the moving van at my house, and I just took me a little while to get there, but we decided we don't need our big house anymore.
Wow. Was this, don't want to pry, get personal or anything, but is this because, kids are grown and gone, or you just realize, you don't need you don't have as much stuff to store in a house, or what?
Well, you know what? We had too much stuff. I'm sitting in front of Goodwill right now for the 20th time in the last couple of weeks. But, our kids are grown and gone, but it was a ranch. It was a good home for us and a nice location. But, it's too big and more than we need, and we're just trying to simplify our life. And I loved our house. Both of us love our house, but we're ready to just accept and move on. And I didn't think I would get here to this point because we love this house. And I prayed a lot that God would say, let it go. And it came to us that we let it go. So we just sold our house.
Wow. Well, you know what? Congratulations.
Peace, the point of peace.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure you made a lot of memories there in that house. You said you love that house, so there's a lot of things that are going to be in your beautiful memory bank, which is a great thing. You can't nobody can take away our memories, which is a beautiful thing. You can constantly
That's right.
have those. Yeah, and you have pictures as well, I'm
That's
sure.
right.
Okay, but Kathy, congratulations. My husband and I did the exact
you.
same. Yeah, we did the exact same thing. I loved the house that I was in.
Right.
It took me 18 months to build that house. It was absolutely gorgeous. I know every nook and cranny of that house. But you know
Right.
what? When we let it go, Kathy, my husband and I live a turnkey lifestyle not now. We absolutely love it. It leaves us much more time for ministry and to do
Right.
the work that we really love. And I don't look back at all. And I have to tell you, I mean, I know this may sound selfish, and please forgive me if it does, dear listeners, but I did a lot of entertaining for many, many years. Everybody used to pile into our house, and it was beautiful. But you know what? I'm kind of liking being a guest now at other people's houses.
Right. Right. I know. We made a lot of good family memories, extended family and everything, and people are like, "Where are we going to go? What are we going to do?" But you know, we're gonna move to a smaller house, and we'll make memories again in that home.
Amen. Amen. Kathy, great call. Thanks so much, and we hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And has the weather gotten a little cooler there for you this time of year?
You know, it's cooler, but it's a bright, sunshiny day. It's going to get to 45, so it's a great day right now.
Wow. Praise God. Praise God for his creation and the beauty. Thank you, Kathy. Great to have you with us on the program.
Thank you.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking today about things in your life, things in our lives that, we cling to them. There may be attachments, but they may just be interests, hobbies, things, homes, grudges, whatever. And as we get older, maybe it's just Debbie, our energy level changes, and we just say, I don't have the energy for that anymore. Or we mature, we grow, we learn and learn more about our faith, and that's what we're talking about today. And we're talking next with Monica, who is in Wabash, Indiana, listening on Redeemer Radio. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Monica, how are you?
Got a cold, so I have stuffy nose, but other than that, good.
Hope you're over that soon.
Thanks. Okay, I love what everybody else has said, and I agree so much. And what the thought that came to my mind was, how over the women feel like their appearances are such a big deal. What we wear, doing our hair, our makeup, having a full face of makeup. And as I've gotten older, I've never been a huge, piles of, lots and lots of makeup, but yet, we have that, vainness about us that we want to, or what do you want to look, you want to look good when you go out. And as I've gotten older, that has meant less to me. I don't like to, I want to look nice, but I don't have to spend a lot of time. I don't want to spend a lot of time on my hair. I don't want to spend time on makeup. And I get my lot of clothes at Goodwill. And I'm proud of that fact because I love to recycle. So, somebody compliments me on my outfit, I'm like, Goodwill, yay, I feel like I'm doing a good thing. I'm recycling. That buying anything new does not matter to me anymore. And, financially things have been hard over the years.
Right.
And I've had to make changes in my life, but I'm so okay with it. I'm so okay with it. And a lot of that is age and to bring it back to faith, I'm happy with who I am. I'm a child of God. As long as I have a good relationship with God, that's like the best thing in my life. That's how I can feel good about me and not worry about those silly things. And another thing was, it was funny because I had to have, in my 40s, I had to have eye surgery. I had what you get, I can't even think of it. See, I'm losing memory.
Cataracts
what's that? When you have the cataracts.
Cataracts, yeah.
Cataracts removed in my 40s. After I had the cataracts removed, I couldn't afford to get the medical thing done, or the things put in my eyes to have perfect vision. Couldn't afford that, so I just had to get implants. So I just had the cataracts removed. It changed my vision. I used to be nearsighted, now I'm farsighted. I can't see to put on makeup in my 40s. And so it's like, okay, gone with the eyeliner and mascara. First time in my life, it's like I don't want to do it. And I'm so okay with that. I'm fine. I want to look natural. Yeah. A little makeup is fine. It doesn't bother me anymore. And I feel good about myself. So I wish if I could talk to my younger self and I could talk to younger women, if we could just somehow get them to love themselves the way they are, at such a younger age, and not buy into all the magazine stuff and, what looks like, it's all that that's being pushed on our girls makes me feel very sad.
Oh, yeah. Monica, you just said exactly what I was going to say about the magazine, so you just said it better than I could ever have said it. But it's so true. But as you were speaking, a couple things jumped out at me. First of all, you have such an incredible freedom now. You have freed yourself from those things that have kept you down, okay? And that's so freeing yourself from all the, and plus, not only that, you probably are saving your life because there's a lot of toxic chemicals in cosmetics, okay? Seriously, they're finding there's all sorts of things in cosmetics, so you're helping yourself there, and that's really good. The other thing too is, when you talked about at the beginning that we become so vain as women, well, that's what society has done to us, and so we need more Monicas out there freeing and saying, you know what, I'm going to go natural, and that is awesome. Monica, if you can just hold, you hear that music. When we come back, I just wanted to talk a little bit more, and then we got Stuart and Jason and Chris and the others. So hang on, guys. This is a great conversation on Take Two.
We're so glad you're helping us get into the weekend, and we're trying to do the same for you here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Our thanks as always to the show team. We heard Tom Price on the air a few moments ago. Rich Jesse, Jeff Burson. We've got Ryan Penny screening our calls today. And Michael Birchfield, Michael McCall help out with that as well. Today we're talking about something in your life that has maybe lost its importance. Not that it's out of your life, but your priorities have changed a little bit. 833-288-3986. Debbie, we're talking with Monica in Wabash, Indiana.
So, Monica, I think we need to educate our youth that these rag magazines, all these magazines at the grocery stores, are all airbrushed, touched up, filtered, you name it, because it's very hard to achieve that kind of look on a regular basis. If we can expose that, then maybe these younger teenage girls will realize that the more natural approach is really a beautiful approach. I mean, you look at Mother Teresa, okay, from a physical standpoint, she was short in stature. She had a lot of wrinkles. She obviously didn't wear makeup. She really, from a physical standpoint, she probably wasn't considered by many as the most beautiful person, but people said when they got near her, and I saw her from a distance, boy, was she beautiful. So, it's a perfect example of the beauty that comes out of a person when you don't have that mask in front of you that's hiding it through makeup. What do you think about that, Monica? Should we start a campaign that maybe get people to realize what's really going on with these magazines?
Well, yeah, we have to guard the little girls. We have to guard them, our children. And there was a gas station in our town that had these filthy magazines geared at men, and they laid them right at the checkout where kids, it was just eye level of kids, and it was a very almost nothing clothing on women magazine. And I was very angry about it. And every time I shouldn't have gone in there anymore, but I thought, no, I'm going to fight it. So every time I went in, I turned the magazine over. And then they turned it back. So then I started complaining to the cashiers. The cashiers told me, we don't want them here, but our boss insists. We don't want them here. I'm offended by them. Eventually, I told other women in town, I said, complain. When you go into these places and you see these magazines right front and center, complain. We need to say, I don't want that there. That disgusts me. I don't need to see it. Our kids don't need to see it. And I don't see them there anymore. So,
wow. Good job.
So I'm hoping just little things like that. I mean, our girls don't need it. They have a hard enough time. I've got a 7-year-old granddaughter. She's a beautiful soul. I want her to stay that way.
Right,
I'm going to fight tooth and nail to have her have a good, healthy self-esteem.
Yeah, yeah, and it is kind of unfortunate. I mean, this is happening with a lot of young people. We need to pray for them. Parents need to be, firm. It's not like they don't put any makeup on or don't have a cell phone or anything like this. But it just really becomes a matter of, I need to do what all my peers are doing. And I hate to say this. I've said this on the air before, Monica and Debbie, and I'm tempted to do this, but I never have. When I see a young girl, probably in her teens or whatever, just totally made up and on all this, I just wish I could go up to her and say, I'll bet you're very pretty.
Underneath all that.
Yeah, I'll bet. And she would say,
because
what do you mean? You bet? Can't you see me?
Well,
and I would say, no, I can't see you.
Sometimes it's an inch thick of makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so thick. It's almost like stage makeup. You know.
Yeah, and you have to look past that because it's a soul who's probably got a lot of hurt, could have a lot of hurt in their life, or they're copying their peers, but sometimes it's because they have a lot of hurt in their life and they're covering it all up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and let's. My hand's in the air. I don't wear physical makeup, but I put a lot of makeup on my life. So I'm as guilty as anybody. So Debbie and I are not sitting here.
Is that social makeup?
Well, it's just emotional makeup, to mask.
To be out there in the world.
So this isn't a criticism of our young girls or boys or parents or anything. It's just simply, we all do these things because we're afraid to show the world who we are because we don't know who we are.
Right.
That's the problem.
But wait a minute. Come on. Before we let Monica go, hold on. Monica, you just gave me an idea for another show. We've got to do a show on this, Monica. So this is thanks to you. But let's face it. If we started a campaign right now that said it is so cool to go out there without any eyeliner on, and it's the coolest thing in the world, and we started
like Alicia Keys, is that her name? Alicia Keys on she has gone without makeup.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Keys,
Okay.
Yes, on that music.
Well, my point is, my point is, if we started a campaign that made it cool again, before you know it, everybody in the world would start doing it. It's the same way when the haircuts come in and we have the Jennifer Aniston haircut and everybody gets their haircut like Jennifer Aniston. I mean, it goes on and on. And so we could do this again. And I love what Monica has to say. Start in your own communities. Start getting people together to say, hey, we don't like that. Yes, we do like that. I think we can do that. Mother Teresa talks about start in your own family, your own community. I love it.
I see a hashtag coming.
Hashtag, yeah.
Thanks, Monica.
Thanks,
God bless
Monica.
you. This is take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. I make a note of that.
I'm gonna make a note. Well, yeah, that's a great.
By the way, dear listeners, this is how we get a lot of our shows. It's what you want to talk about, and we're going to go to Jason next. Jason, you maybe get our Virtual Patience Award today for holding the longest. You are a man of the virtue of patience in Grafton, Ohio, listening on the Rock. Hi, Jason. Welcome.
Hi. How are you doing this morning?
Really good, Jason, and really well, too, if I want to speak proper grammar. But how are you?
I'm doing very well, and thank you. I didn't realize I was really waiting that long, but I am delighted that I tuned in this morning. I had hopped out of the gas station and tuned in, and I heard your story about when you were younger, you were a devout Raiders fan. Well, being
Right.
from the Cleveland area, I've been a Browns fan for a very, very long time. So I can relate to the seasons and what you were talking about. But as I had told your call screener, I'm 39, and I've had the pleasure of being married for 14 years now. And over the last 8 years, I have made a lot of physical changes in my life. Shortly after college, in my mid-20s, I was very devout to my music. And to me, that was the world. It was everything to me. I had the blessing of being signed to a minor label, and, that was my life. And as you can imagine, being an original artist and being adored by, fans and friends and whatnot, eventually when that fizzled out over a course of 7 to 10 years, you think to yourself, man, what am I going to do next? At that time, I still didn't have any children, so beyond my wife, there really wasn't much more that I felt that I had a value of. And I am a returning Catholic, so I re-engaged back into my faith and realized a lot of the things that I had lost in my time of selfishness, because let's face it, anybody who is in that industry, whether you're original rock or rap or, original artists in general, you are pummeled with temptation from all manners of speaking, and it's a hard life. It takes a physical toll on you mentally, physically, spiritually. And I went on, I guess, a bender for a couple of years, just trying to refine myself, redefine myself. And now when I look at it, about 8-9 years later, I'm, like I said, 14 years married. My wife and I were unable to have children naturally, so we went on the path of fostering. From fostering led to adoption, and now we have several kids that we have fostered and adopted and are looking forward to growing in our family in that way. And I think back to all the things that I thought I couldn't live without, and that has turned, the more deeper I got into my faith, into I realized the value of what I really had from the very beginning, which started with my wife and then my kids, and they're all my priority. And I realized that the more and more I tune into 1260 The Rock, and the more that I continue to understand what God's view of masculinity is, which has been a 3-year journey for me, I realized that I wish I knew then what I knew now, and all I try to do now is just give the best to my children, and I take such great pride and pleasure of molding what they should be as boys growing into men. Myself, I was raised by a single mom who was in the military for nearly 20 years. Sadly, my biological father went AWOL in the military, never to be seen again, and so she did her best to be mom and dad for me. Well, I want to make sure that my children and anybody else that may be in my position can know and understand it's a hard road, but if you put your heart, faith, and trust in God, He will lead you where you need to be. And I can't say I've never been happier.
Wow. Jason, thank you for calling, brother. You have really nailed this topic that we're talking about. And, having my parents divorced, and my dad didn't go AWOL, but he didn't have much of anything to do with us during our lives after I was about 7. So I certainly can empathize with you on that. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sure you've been praying for him all these years. But getting back to the kind of the core issue of our conversation here, what you have laid out for us here, Jason, shows a very biblical, very spiritual, very Christian principle that we have trouble with sometimes. Sometimes we have something in our hand, we're holding on to it, and God says, I'd like to take that. Would you give me that? And we have to have the faith to give it to Him, because without knowing what's going to come later. Mm-hmm. But Debbie, isn't it true that God always wants to take something from us to give us something better? Mm-hmm. And we just have so much trouble letting go of that thing that we have, no matter what it is. And in Jason's case, Jason, you have been blessed. God has blessed your socks off,
right?
Because you were willing. You had that openness of heart to say, these things have been very, very important to me, and it doesn't look like this is really working out that well, the path that God has for me. So, I'm going to move in a different direction, not really knowing all these blessings that have come subsequently to that. So, yeah, I think it's.
I'm just blown away at your story, Jason. I just wish I could bottle you a ton of Jasons, put a label on it, and send it all around the country for everybody else who's married and is a father and has grown up in the circumstances that you grew up in. And now you are changing that cycle, and you are making a difference, and you are deepening your faith, and you are responsible for the precious gifts of your wife and your children, and you are taking it on with such great spiritual maturity. I mean, everything you had to say. I pray. I have a thing I want to just encourage you to do, if you can. Call your local station, The Rock. I know they would love to have your testimony on tape. You are a phenomenal person that needs to get your story out to so many young families. And I can say you're young because it's my birthday today, so you're about...
You could almost be her son.
Yeah, you could almost be my son. There you go. But Jason, you know what? It's awesome, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for just being an awesome person, having a great soul, and really understanding what it means to be a husband and a father and a person of faith in this world. We need more of you. So thank you. I mean, it was very inspiring. What do you think? Did we kind of capture what you were trying to convey to the world?
Absolutely, and I thank you for the opportunity. I always find it every day. I laugh more now than I ever used to because I've always heard the saying, if you really stop and just kind of listen and unplug, you can hear God talking to you. And oftentimes I find myself just doing things randomly, willy-nilly. There's like no thought to it. Like today, I turned on the radio, and rather than tuning into the sports station out here and listening to what the Browns are going to probably bungle next, I decided to turn into 1260 AM The Rock to, see, what might I learn. And then the first thing I hear is, something that for some reason inspired me to call in. And I'm not one to really call into radio stations, but I was moved to do so. And I want to say that my journey is I realize now it's ever ongoing till the day I die, but it has not been easy transition. As I have mentioned, I'm a returning Catholic. And, with that, I found myself in a really bad place. And in the end, a lot of what my mother tried to instill in me in a young age finally was brought to life, and I humbled myself. And I can't tell you how scary and uncomfortable it was to return to the confessional for the first time after God knows how many years. And I had to learn and appreciate small steps. And by nature, I'm somewhat impatient. So when I don't perfect something within the first couple of times or 10 times or whatever, I get easily annoyed. And it's a lot from my upbringing on how things were. But over time, I've surrounded myself with other men, strong, young people that I can gravitate to and learn from. And some of the best advice I ever received was there are many that have came before you. This is not your first road. You're not the first person to travel through this, but you have to be willing to go through that distance. And from returning to the confessional ultimately led to me praying more, then furthering that prayer, then trying to understand the meaning and the beauty behind the rosary. And then it's been gradually, we're talking an 8-year project, and I'm still nowhere where I want to be now. But if I look back at my road and all of the humility I had to learn how to do and all the pride I had to learn how to swallow, it's not easy. But if I could say one thing to any man who feels out there that they don't feel like they should let go of that wheel, you can. It's going to be okay, but it is most certainly not going to feel easy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Jason, if you spoke to anybody around the world, you spoke to me about that, because that is something I need to learn and get better at, too, is giving God control of my life. So thank you. You've been a great inspiration to me and to everybody else who's listening. So we're going to let you go on that, brother. We've got Chris and Stuart coming up next. We'll get both of them on the show before we end. But thank you, Jason, for your great participation and contribution to the program today. We appreciate that so much. And definitely get a hold of The Rock and maybe they can have you on during one of their pledge drives or something, just to help encourage their listeners in the ways that you have done for us today. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
833-288-3986. Chris and Stuart, hang on. Something very urgent has just happened here.
And to respect her privacy, because it literally just happened. One of the EWTN employees, her mom just passed away. Mm-hmm. So folks can please, she was very, very just shocked and very
dashing out
and she's running out right now. So please, folks, the dear Lord knows her family and knows her mom, and please pray for the family right now, because this is when you get news like that, it really makes it tough.
Let's just say in our Father.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, you know the situation. Please welcome this wonderful woman into your kingdom. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
And for comfort and consolation for her and her family as well.
When you get, it just hits you to the core when you just even are witnessing that, and just to see her face and just, wow, folks, this is why we believe in Take Two, the power of prayer. So people are going to be lifted by those prayers that you can say today for that beautiful family.
Yeah, thanks for allowing us that brief interruption, but I'm sure anyone listening, and Stuart and Chris who are on the line, I'm sure you would join us in praying for the repose of the soul of her mother. Okay, back to your calls, talking about what is of less significance in your life. Speaking of rearranging priorities, we're going to go to Chris, also listening in Cleveland. Hi, Chris. Thank you for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Welcome.
Hello, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Great to have you.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, I'm 69 years old, and over a long period of time, to get to your issue of what's less important of you, I came to what I consider a profound realization. There's only two types of things in the whole universe, temporal and eternal. It's either one or the other, Mm-hmm. And I'm not concerned today with just about anything of a temporal nature as opposed to an eternal nature. There was a time in my life when temporal concepts took a front seat and eternal concepts took a back seat. And it's just changed. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know what it is. Some people might call it wisdom. I never made a conscious decision to change the order of importance in my life of those two, concepts. Mm-hmm. But it just happened. And there's some things, in your life that you I mean, if you don't take a shower for 2 weeks, you tend to offend some people, so there's certain temporal things you still have to do, out of respect for other people.
Right.
But there's not, I can pick out 100 things that used to be of importance to me that are no longer important to me at all.
Right.
Because they're simply of a nature that is temporal. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, I once bought everything at an extremely, I won't mention their name, but I once bought everything at an extremely well-advertised, expensive New York men's store. Pay $1,500 for a $500 suit because it has a wing.
Right.
It begins with BB,
Yeah.
But I can't tell you what I lashed. I don't care anymore. I'll go to Walmart and buy pants.
Mm-hmm. But Chris, you said something at the very beginning, because you disclosed your age. You said you're 69, and I think that is that plays a part, because when you talk about
sure. I'm absolutely positive it does.
Right.
But again, I never made a conscious decision to do any of this, because the core issue is Jesus Christ. That's
exactly.
it. That's the core issue, and that's the only issue that today I'm concerned with. Was I concerned with it the way I am today 20 years ago? Much to my chagrin and embarrassment, I must say no.
Well, I have to tell you, Chris, we're so glad that you picked Take Two to call in, and we're so grateful for your call because it really does help us. And I think maybe that we have a lot of a younger audience as well, and I think if they're listening right now, they could really be encouraged and inspired by your call. Because why? Here's what I always say: why wait till you get to be 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 years old before you come to this realization? And like Chris said, he doesn't know exactly when it happened, but there was a shift that happened in his thought process and mindset. And I think that happens to us as we get older and we mature, physically mature, spiritually mature, emotionally, psychologically, and everything else. Okay, if we can impart that to our children at an early age, what a much better life they would have, Jerry. A much freer life.
Yeah, and I think it's just normal when we're young, we're growing up, we get our degrees, we get our career going.
We're climbing.
Yeah, it's a good thing actually.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to want to progress in life and to achieve and to accomplish and things like that. But again, those things, they are less important, but they are also more important simply because that's how we're wired, you know.
Right.
We want to be who God made us to be in the best version of ourselves. So maybe having things and going after those things, there's nothing wrong with it. But Chris, you're making a great point here that at some point in our lives, and this has happened for me as well.
Me too.
We have that mental or spiritual shift, and it's like, wow, all of this is going to pass away. But what is not going to pass away is heaven and earth and being in the presence and love of God. So, Chris, thank you
Chris.
so much, brother. We appreciate that. Got to rush over to Stuart to get him on the program in our last couple minutes here. Have a blessed weekend, Chris. Stuart's in Fort Wayne,
on
Indiana.
Facebook.
He's watching on Facebook.
Hi,
Hey,
Stuart.
Stuart, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We've got about 2.5 minutes.
Okay, well, very briefly then. First of all, Debbie, congratulations. You know, hi, Alita, which is God grant you many years.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Talk about shifting priorities. I was going to talk about how my priorities from, you know, wanting to be entertained to my prayer life improving. And then the news coming over of the employees, you know, the death in the family. Well, that's another shift in priority to say that I want to offer my prayers for them, for the family, for the repose of the soul, and that may her memory be eternal. But back to my original, my original intent and calling is I put entertainment on the back burner, being entertained, being, and improving and trying to improve my prayer life, but also going on Facebook, posting things that are evangelical in nature, such as I'm Byzantine Catholic, so I post the daily readings for the Byzantine, Catholic liturgy, everything every day, and I post or share sayings of the saints and or pray for people who are in need, and so forth and so on.
But Stuart,
so that's what priorities have.
Right, but Stuart, okay, because here's the thing: you are the perfect call to finish out this discussion, because here's what you're doing: you are using all the entertainment things around us now for ministry purposes. Okay, big difference. Okay, you said it at the very beginning. Instead of you being entertained anymore, now you're going out there and you are living out your baptismal call using social media. Love it, Stuart. That's perfect. And that's what God wants us to do. All of us to do. Thank you, Stuart. That's a great thing for all of us to start doing now. Post inspirational things on Facebook.
Yeah, have a great weekend, Stuart. Thanks for your great take on the show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We have the best of coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. And then on Monday, have you been or are you in counseling or therapy? A lot of us think that's kind of this sort of stigma or something. But you know what? If you're in counseling or therapy, it's a sign you're healthy and you want to be healthier. So we're going to talk about how that has helped you on Monday.
So until then, we want to wish you a beautiful and blessed weekend. See you real soon.
Happy birthday, Debbie.
Thank you.
Very nice. Good show.
Thank you, Tom.